In this video, we're going to take a look at making a finger jointed box. Boxes are one of the foundational primitive forms that we use to create all sorts of products. And finger joints are a really great way to do joinery with laser cutting, because you've got lots of little joints that interlock with each other. So it's a particularly good type of joint for laser cutters. To get started here, I'll create a sketch on the XY plane, and I'm going to use a center rectangle to just pull out a rectangle, and I'm going to make it 100 by 100 millimeters. Always tie in, with a center rectangle, always tie into the origin point, and once you've done that, you should immediately get a constrained shape once you're done. If you see any blue lines, then that means you haven't constrained everything. You'll need to go back and dimension that. In any case, I've got my sketch done, and I've got it there floating on the plane, and I'm now going to extrude that up into a body that I can actually manipulate. But before I do that, I'll add some parameters. I need parameters for this particular product. So I'm going to add, my first parameter is going to be thickness, and I'm going to make that 5. And then I'm going to add parameters for height, because the box is going to have some height to it, and I'll set that to 100. And I'm going to set one for width as well, and that will be 100, because I'm going to make a cube, basically, but we can change that later, as you'll see. And I will also make one for depth, and I'll make that 100 as well, so we can make it a prismatic cube. There we go. Okay, so I've added those parameters, and now I can extrude my first sketch. I'll click that, and I'll type in thickness, and immediately it does what I asked for, and I'm going to ask it to make a new component. Always a best practice to make new components off of your sketches. There we go, it's done. And as always, I'm going to go back and rename my sketch, and this is going to be my bottom of my box. And I'm going to rename this component, and it's going to be called bottom as well. And now the name of the sketch and the name of the part line up. That's great. I'm going to open up my sketch again, though. And before, I typed in manually 100 millimeters. But really, I should now set this to my parameter of height. So I'll put that in right now. And later, if I change the parameter, everything's going to update. And of course, I will do the bottom one set to width. And now we're done. So now we have a parameterized sketch. And we've got the bottom shape. And if I go back and change my parameters, then you'll see what happens. It'll immediately update. I'll try and get this window out of the way for you. It's kind of tricky here, but I think I can do it. There we go. Okay, so if I change the width of my box and I want to have a 200 millimeter wide box, you see that instantly the whole thing updates. And that's what I want to happen. Great, so I'll leave that like that. And I've got a parameterized box. I will now save my work, and I will call this box. And in this case, I actually want to pop out, and I'm going to make a new project at the top level of my data panel here. So I'll come over here, and I'm going to make a new project. I'm going to call this Learning with G10. Of course, you could be in grade 9 and follow this, or grade 11. It wouldn't really matter now, would it? So I'll say Learning with G10. I've made the project. I want to make sure it's selected. There we go. Learning with G10 is selected in the project sidebar. There it is. And I can say save. It should go in there now. And then I should have version 0 of my box. Great. I have now made the first part of my project. And I will sign off on this video. And in the next one, we're going to make the sides.